Ed here with the Digital Digest, and today I wanted to share a quick unboxing and first look at the Sony GP-VPT2BT. Now that model number may be a mouthful, but let's call this exactly what it is. It's a Bluetooth grip designed for Sony cameras. Now whether you intend to vlog or just use it for general functionality, I think this is a pretty interesting accessory. That's why I purchased one. I did request it from Sony, but they weren't able to get it out to me in the immediate. And essentially, this is an update to something like this, which many of you have seen. It's something that Sony bundles in vlogging kits, and it just gives you the ability to zoom, of course, take still images and record video, and it does convert into a little tripod. This, on the other hand, more expensive. Instead of $100 for that piece of plastic that I just showed you, this is $140 US. So it's pricey, but they have, in my opinion, based on what I've seen, taken this to the next level. So all of the same functions as the model I just showed you, but then some. We have the C1 button, which means customization for that button. It is a larger grip, which means you're going to more comfortably deal with larger cameras. And as you can see, what comes in box, the grip and a carry case. Let's go ahead and get this thing out of the packaging. And as of today, I believe I'm the first person to do an unboxing. Doesn't mean, at least in English, as far as I know, does not mean that there aren't other videos online already covering this product. There are a few, some paperwork in there. I'm going to go ahead and put that aside. But nonetheless, this, in my opinion, unlike most of the accessories of this nature that Sony's made in the past, I really do think warrants a close look. Now, in terms of Sony's list of compatible devices, they pretty much stick to 2019 cameras. So whether that's in the Cyber-shot, the RX100 Mark VII, or of course, I think the Mark VI is on there as well. And then, you know, the latest and greatest A7 series, as well as the A9. And there you can see it in the tripod mode. First and foremost, it is beefed up in just about every way. I mean, this does feel like something that you could hold comfortably, even with a more, I would say, robust payload than obviously what this little ditty can handle. And when I covered this in the past, I actually did test it when I initially first got it for review purposes. Eventually I ended up purchasing one myself, but I did test it with a bevy of Sony cameras. And this is a great little accessory to have in your pocket, but the wire is a pain in the ass. There's really no two ways about it. So here we now have Bluetooth capability, which means no more wire, which is one of the reasons I was interested in it. It does not come with a rechargeable battery like many devices these days. Instead, they've decided, let's see if I open this correctly, you've got to slide that first and then you're able to pop it open. They're going with a hearing aid style battery, which you can see right here with the carry case. Go ahead and take that out. And it's fairly standard for what's used. It's the CR2032. This is something that is really used across a very wide array of electronics. There's our carry case. I'm going to go ahead and pop the battery in there. And, you know, as far as vlogging, I don't plan on using this for vlogging, even though that is the intended use as per Sony. Pop that battery in there. And you will want to have several of these batteries, I imagine, considering there's no readout or anything for this. So there's no way to actually know that the battery is dead. I'm not sure I'm going to go through the pairing process, but from what I've seen, it's not too complicated. And then it's all just a matter of your camera of choice. So over here, I have the A7R IV, which is absolutely my camera of choice. You can see I've got the pure digital shotgun mic, which I love. I will be doing an update on that soon. Let's go ahead and screw this in. And you know, which way you want to orient the controls is completely up to you, but obviously facing you is the logical way to have this set up. And once you tighten this up, you're good to go. Now, I can tell you, I do wish they had made a locking mechanism for this, because it is just a turn until it tightens system, which isn't a bad thing, but I definitely think that if we had a way to actually lock this, it would give me a little more confidence than just what I've done there. And I don't think there is a way to lock it. So that's pretty much it. So here I'm holding it, using that. You can see it's actually trying to pair right now. I believe that's why it's blinking. And the buttons on here, again, we have the movie mode, we have still mode, we have our zoom control, C1, and then we have a lock trigger essentially. Now, the only thing that I could see as a next logical evolution for this sort of accessory for Sony is giving us some form of gimbal. And that's why when they call this a vlogging accessory, I understand what they're saying. I mean, look, this is literally just about a complete kit with what I have here. And we just saw it actually move on me. That should lock in and hold, and it does. So I've got the A7R4, I've got the 24 to 105 f4, and then the shotgun mic. So if I wanted to film myself very easily, I could just turn this around and I'm good to go. I've got the audio, I've got the little tripod essentially, but where does this go wrong? Well, there's no way to see myself, obviously, with the camera like the A7R4. It doesn't have one of those articulating displays that flips all the way around. But many of Sony's current models do, and I think this is an indication that we're just going to see even more Sony cameras that will have flip around displays so that you can actually see yourself. If I go ahead and take this off of the A7R4, which is the camera that I would primarily want to use this with, you have to remember this is still, in my opinion, better postured for lighter payloads. So if I wanted to go to something like the A6100 that I just received for review, I have that right here, this camera is going to make more sense because it is lighter and we do have the flip around display. So let's go ahead and mount this. And I will test this on all of the cameras I have in-house. I mean, again, Sony put out a limited list, but they did the same thing when they launched previous grips, and I found that there was more functionality than even Sony was quoting. And I don't think it's because Sony isn't doing their homework. I think it's just because they want to keep it simple and,